Hey guys, Allison Gardner here, and I want to ask you guys a question today. And that question is, what do you do when there is just too much going on in your head? When there's just so much rattling around in there? Decisions about work, decisions about life, decisions about how to support your spouse. Your spouse is going through a hard time. You're not sure how to balance family. You don't know how all the pieces go together. And that sort of feels like a theme that shows up for me a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean like most days of my life. And I know that I have a tool that works. Last year, I was taught a really awesome tool. I prefer to call it, and how I use it is a write and burn. And a write and burn is a way of just getting all of your words and all of your thoughts and all of the stuff that's going on down on paper. And I know that will help me when I just feel like I'm on edge and there's just too much going on up here and I just need to get it on paper. And I know that it works. So why don't I do it? I guess this is my inner reveal about me, and probably why I'm coming across this feeling so awkward, because as someone who is trying to share techniques that work, one of the first rules is that you use them, and is that you use them yourself, you live their benefit because you were regularly doing them. And I have done it. I just to be open and honest, last week I did sit down and I did get a whole bunch of stuff on paper, because it is useful and it does do amazing things. And so if you are in a position where you feel like your brain is a mess and you're second guessing all of the decisions that you made in the last 2 weeks, let alone 2 years, you're second guessing how you're supporting a spouse, you're second guessing how you're engaging with family, you feel like you're falling short in all of the places you could possibly be, sitting down and getting it on paper and just write. Sometimes you can say, I feel angry because, I feel frustrated because, I'm feeling these ways because, are really helpful. And sometimes I just sit down and I just throw up on the page. Not literally, physically, not literally, not physically, but emotionally. And I just write. And I just write down any stray thought that comes into my head. Because things can feel really overwhelming. And this tool is useful whether you have a spouse or a friend that you can talk to everything about, or this is especially useful if you feel like sharing these things verbally is not the best option. And so I would definitely encourage you to use it. Please do it. If you have questions about it, please message me, email me. Getting your things on paper and engaging with paper instead of throwing that onto people heals your relationships, because you're not throwing stuff at them all the time. You're not your relationships are not emotion based. They are mutually engaging based, which is definitely how a healthy relationship is formed and maintained. So part of this video is, yes, please do that. It's fantastic and glorious and wonderful. And then the other part of this is diving into, if we know we have helpful tools, why don't we use them? Why don't we engage with them? Because there has been so much inside of me that the very idea of trying to get it all on paper and seeing everything that is just makes me feel icky and makes me feel overwhelmed, because I know there's a lot in there. I know that my brain is capable and my body is capable of carrying around a whole ton of stuff and a whole lot of emotions and a whole lot of ouch and hurt and good too. Okay, the truck is passed. But the idea of having to see that in front of me can sometimes be very overwhelming. And I would like to share with you what a wise mentor said to me. And that is, if there are voices in your head If there's an influence around you that is telling you not to write stuff down, not to peel back the layers to see what's going on, to distract you from that, it is because it is so healing. It is because it is so useful and poignant and powerful. And the voice that usually is in my head is either 1, I don't have time, or 2, what awful, rotten things are you going to find out about yourself? Because once you see it down in black and white on paper, you have to come to terms with it. It is there and you engage with it. But what I found is once I engage with it and I put it on paper and I get rid of it, I have to come to terms with it. I can't just nudge it away. The thing about thoughts is that the ones you nudge away just grow. They grow in power, they grow in vengeance until there's a time when you can't push them away anymore and they just come up and they come at you and you just have to be ready for them. Well, whether you're ready or not, there they are. And so by putting them on paper, it actually gives you space to process them on your terms and to work with them on your terms and in your way. And then the other part of that is I've noticed that I can have a lot of emotions going on up here and tell myself a pretty sweet story of that I'm the victim. And that it's just, I'm a victim with circumstances outside of my control. But once I get stuff on paper, then I realize the holes in that logic. And I realize where I do have control, and where I do have the ability to think new thoughts, and to try new things because I am the one in control of me. And if you guys are having a hard time with that, I hope you'll reach out. I realized today that the thing that sort of makes me tick, because I didn't do it for years, is to give space for people to be just the way they are. Because there's a lot of power in embracing where you are before you try moving on. Because if you embrace where you are, you let go of guilt, you let go of shame, you let go of hurt. And once those things are gone, you have ultimate power in the universe to be the change agent for your life. But if you're carrying all of those things around, you're just way down and you feel limited by that shame and by that guilt. And so if you are in that spot of just feeling like there's too much going on, there's just too much that is pulling you down and hurting you, I hope that you'll reach out with an email or sign up on my calendar link. And I have a Meet You Where You Are call. And my hope with this call is to literally meet you where you are and to just give you space to see everything that's there and realize that some of it you can let go. Because there's a power of letting go, there's a power of talking it through, and there's a power of writing it down. So that's my challenge for you today. Find your pen, find your notebook, sit down and process on paper, and give your brain room to start adding your value back, giving yourself room to see flaws in your logic so you can tell a new story and have a better life. Thanks for joining me on this slightly circuitous journey. I hope you have a great day, and then I'll see you next time.